Welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna actually jump a little bit, I think. I got here and we did a little jumping yesterday, and Happy's front fat blocks were a little bit swollen, but there's no heat, so I think it's just going back to like we haven't done any pulls or jumping in like almost 2 months now. So I guess I don't know. I worry about that, but I think he'll be okay. I'm gonna turn him out in about 5 minutes and let some of the circulation flow through because I'm assuming it's just stocking up. But yeah, today we're gonna jump a little bit and continue working on the flat, and I might hack around the ranch just a little bit too after my ride. So yeah, stay tuned for all of that because there's really not much else for me to say this morning.
And now look to your second jump. Don't jump for him.
Sorry, buddy.
So try to just find your 2 point and leave him alone. Yes, better. And then I would try to aim for your hands closer to your neck strap so you don't tip as much. Better. He loves it.
I know. Your mom was egging you on too. We both were. We're like, just go over that hole. Maybe next week, if you can get this tightness sorted out in his back. I worry about what. Yeah, that's the thing.
Good job, guys.
Yeah, you looked really good.
I think I've broken through.
That looks so much
good.
better. You look like you had control.
Yes, I did. Good job.
Clearly that was good for Happy since he's non-stop yawning now.
It just took a little believing that I could do it.
Is this a good angle? We're about to see. Okay, so we jumped yesterday. We did everything kind of low, well, very low, kind of like on the first hole. And we noticed that Happy doesn't really take them seriously in the sense that he's not, and I'm trying to paraphrase this from what Stephanie told me yesterday, that he's not actually jumping with a good form, and so we want to start teaching him to jump with a little bit better form. And he was doing it better on the purple and green behind me. I'm not going to point to it on the camera because it's hard. And that one was higher yesterday. So I raised everything by I think 1 or 2 holes today. So they're still pretty small. But hopefully that they'll be big enough that he will pay attention a little more, which I think he will because he's pretty good about it. So I guess now all that's left is really to go finish my coffee first of all and then tack him up.
Those geese sleep at night. I feel like every Saturday morning they always fly by. Yeah. And probably every morning. Yeah. I'm just not here every morning, so.
I finished one for today though.
Huh?
I finished my YouTube for today.
Yay!
I gotta do the one for next week.
Yeah,
Welcome to the voiceover. So, yesterday, or I guess what would have been yesterday to this video, we worked in my lesson on a lot of changes of directions in circle, so we've already talked about that in my last video. So at the walk, I'm even starting to do that. I'm trying to get him engaged and focused on his body and not getting tight through his body by just going the same direction all the time. And so I mainly turn him when I feel like he's tight or I feel like he is not, he's kind of diving, I guess. So like here, I felt like he was diving to the left, and that was because if you watched, his left hind was not all the way through. So he was stepping shorter with it. So that kind of is what happens with him, is he will walk, trot, canter, and not really bring his hind all the way through. And I just have to remind him that he has a hind end and he needs to use it. I'll do the same thing at the trot, and at the trot I try to be less grabby. So in the past I used to kind of yank when I wanted him to turn, and now I'm kind of like suggesting that we turn. So you'll see I pull my hand out, I'm like, let's turn this way. I turn my head, I turn my body, and I try to signal to him that we're turning. And I feel like that gives him the opportunity to understand what I'm asking and to do it without feeling like he's attacked, which I do feel like he gets the sense that he's being attacked when I do it too quickly, and then he kind of tunes out. I also wonder if, because Happy was a cart horse, obviously he did harness racing, that turning through his haunches does not make as much sense to him as through his shoulders. So if you watch that turn that he just did, it was very much more through his shoulders than through his hind. And that's kind of how he gets some of these quick turns that he does. And so we're really, really working hard on getting him to sit back on his hind end and to push and to turn from there as opposed from his shoulders. So I think it's a little bit just also what he learned as a young horse, and it's kind of going against his initial training being a harness racer, but it's not something that he's capable of changing the way that he moves, because he's clearly showing it here. It's just he has to be reminded, and he has to learn to work new muscles that I don't think are really something that he is used to working. Something else that I'm working on is trying to get less tension in our transitions, which is really hard to say. I'm doing this by asking for the trot from the walk or the canter from the trot, and if I feel like he tenses a lot, and then usually after tensing he dives, then I'll stop asking. Completely take my legs off and just wait until he relaxes again. And that seems to be getting the point to him that it's okay, like we're not going to be pushing you, and it doesn't hurt, and you can go into it relaxed. Here, the canter is kind of drawn out. I think that on this day, his back was a little tight because I don't feel like I really ever got a really good stretch in this ride. So still working on getting him to kind of come under himself and to slow down instead of just running flat out. But today it was kind of hard for him. And I don't really think we ever really got that nice of a canter either way. It was just a canter. I'm going to preface this jump starting with the fact that both horses that we were riding with went over to the gate, and Happy thought that we were done and didn't want to get left behind. And so he really was not focused on this. And what I really should have done is let him work a little bit over there, kind of understand what was happening with the one horse, which is his like best friend, like BFF forever. What was happening over there with him, and then try to do the jumping. But I kind of pushed him through it, and you'd see he's just not focused. He's not getting any distances. He's really not paying attention that well, and he's just really struggling. And so I think that was really bad on me that I pushed him when he really needed to just have some time to figure out the situation. So thankfully I used my brain on this direction, and you notice I got a lot of resistance when I asked for that canter. He was very tense. He tried to go to the right. He tried to dive to the left. He threw his head when we got into the canter. And so I realized how impatient I was being with him. And I was like, okay, we're going to do what we do when he gets like this, which is make him work over in this area that he really, really wants to be in. And then every time we go away from the area, completely take any pressure off and just let him go. And a little bit of that kind of got his mindset like, oh, okay, like he could see what was going on over there with his best friend. And he also realized, like, I'm not going to be resting over here, so I don't really care to be over here as much anymore. So we just worked on what we've been working on, which is getting him to be up under himself and to be straight over on this end. And then whenever I would go to the other side, I would just let him go, and he could do whatever the heck he wanted. So I do think that it ended up working out really well for him, and I got him really, I feel like, laser focused, and the left lead jumping went really well. it was Happy's yearly teeth appointment, so he got his teeth done and he was really drugged and drunk afterwards, and I got these videos from Mark and they were hilarious, so I saved them for you guys to watch. But thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.